Question: do you have more month than money? Let's talk about it. Back in a minute. Good morning. Good morning. This is Jan from New York City, channel name Jan from New York City Saves Money. I love, love, love helping people keep more of their own hard-earned money. Could that be you? I hope so. How you doing today? Bright and early on this Monday morning, maybe a little too early for some people who come on watching this at 12:05 a.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. And if you're brand new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I hope you stick around too. Don't forget to click like and subscribe right this minute. Before I get into this, I just want to say thank you, of course, to my loyal viewers who are here all the time. You comment and you click like and you share my videos. Yes, I'm helping to grow this channel because I believe the information that all of us are sharing as a community here, we help one another. Sometimes I look to your comments for answers for myself, even like sometimes even with recipe ideas and things of that nature. Oh my gosh. So thank you everyone so much for being here. Listen, I want to talk to you today about side hustles. Don't have to be side hustles. Now, first of all, let's talk about why some people get into a little bit of financial problems. Why? They are maybe just 100 to 200 or a little bit more shy on their monthly income, on their monthly budget. And that can make all the difference in the world because if that little gap, that budget gap wasn't there, what might happen, what probably ends up happening is guess what? They resort to charging the remaining monies to bills on their credit cards. And then we repeat the process. And then we end up spending a lot more money than we should, than we have to on interest. And you know the drill. And then people end up falling into what? The rabbit hole of debt. Now, let's avoid that. And if we're already in that, let's say, for example, all of us, any of us, whatever, the best thing to do is increase your income at the same time of cutting back. But first, you have to create a budget. So you create a budget, okay, divide up your absolutely needs against your absolutely wants versus absolutely what to save. The good news about the want section, the discretionary spending, is you have a lot of flexibility. So let's, just saying now. I want you to, I don't know if you've never or ever have ever heard of the channel, because I do mention this channel every once in a while as an inspiration to side hustling. Please watch the video. It only runs about 4 minutes and 12 seconds, if I'm not absolutely mistaken. It's by the JB Breaks Free channel. Okay. JB Breaks Free channel. He talks about a whole lot of stuff. Okay. But one such thing that is part of his life, and JB makes no bones about it, and he has helped himself with side hustles. Now, side hustles don't have to be a hassle. And guess what? Very encouraging. He actually shows us or mentions to us every month a monthly report of how did he do with his side hustles. Guess what? This May that just passed, because I'm recording this in June of 2023, this May that just recently passed, just a couple of weeks ago, was his best month ever. Best month ever. So if you're like, like teetering on the fence, should I do a side hustle? I look at it this way. You could try and fail, but at least you tried, right? More than likely, I feel this way. Trying in and of itself is succeeding. But listen to the various things that JB did. He's driving a car, in case you never, saw his channel. In this specific instance, hello, Janet. In this specific instance, he's driving his car. Okay. Now, then he goes along and explains where he made some money. Now, one of the things he made pretty good cash on in May was when he was flipping items for sale, things that he got that he sold, okay, so that he resold. He bought and resold. Hello. He did. If I'm not mistaken, I don't want to give the big number out. I don't want to give the big number out, but I would say that's a really, really great number. Hello, hello, hello. And he does apping. He does multi-apping. He does it with Instacart, for example. And yeah, 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 and other things too. I'm telling you. So just as an inspiration, you see, let's go back. Let's dial this back a minute. If you don't know your numbers, how are you going to know that you have a gap? This gap could be a tiny gap, like about $100 a month, okay? Or it could be a little more than that. Because a lot of people, they're just basing their life on, oh, well, I get X number of dollars in. They don't track their funds. They don't check on where the money is going. And some people, quite frankly, I'm sorry to say, they could care less until it's too late. That is a huge mistake. Now, some people will go along with the side hustling, but some people might just need to readjust their budget a little without even doing the side hustling by cutting back. For example, it just may be a question of spending habits, changing the spending habits. Like, I'm sorry to keep reverting back to this coffee thing. I heard of a very funny story. A friend of mine was going to pick up one of those outside coffees. Okay. Now, this is a story that the friend relayed to me. She was visiting someone, but she was going to get an outside coffee. Okay. And the person she was visiting said, when you go out for that outside coffee, if you don't mind, can you pick up an extra like paper cup and a cover? And it was really kind of funny. Like, this friend was kind of puzzled about that. So of course she, asked to pay for the paper cup, whatever, and brought it back to the other person. So then the other person explained that she loves drinking coffee. It could be her own 25-cent cup of Joe at home, but she love the idea of having that cup and that lid. I'm like, what? And I really on my own figured out a while back. I think some people just they love holding that paper cup and that lid in their hand. Well, they sell things like this already. If you really want that nice little travel mug, you can save like $100 a month. That $100 a month without you having to do a side hustle. That may be the quick ticket fix for you to not have to do a side hustle, that little bit of cutting back. Now, of course, there's some people that absolutely have to do something to generate more income. Idealistically, if you could do a little bit of both, if you're young enough and want to enough, great. But your budget gap may be so tiny that a little bit of spending readjustment may fix that. So, guess what? You never have to grab your credit card for the wrong reasons. Okay. You never have to grab your credit card and use it as your emergency fund. No, I don't like that. Because if a person can't cover whatever they charge on their credit card immediately, no good. Not a good, to me, that's the way I think about it. Okay. If a person knows already in advance, well, I only plan to spend the minimum payment, and they're thinking, fooling themselves into thinking they're making a dent. They're not making a dent. I think all of us, every one of us needs to learn a little bit more about financials little by little. There are so many wonderful resources out there to do that. But let's go back to the JB thing. If you watch his video and you're teetering on the thought of doing a side hustle, I am almost convinced that a lot of people may end up doing a side hustle. Hey, I have a question for my listeners. Just wondering, since you've been listening to my broadcast, has anything inspired anybody to either begin a side hustle or to recognize that there might be a little bit of a gap in your budget and you want to fix and you want to repair your budget? By doing that, by increasing your income, all of us, if we can increase our income even by a couple of $100 a month, that is a good thing, as opposed to starting off the month in the negative. No, 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 no. And a lot of people do that. They're starting off the month in the negatives. They're starting off their checking account periods in the negatives. Oh, is that a good place to be? I don't think so. Or they're not even beginning to build an emergency fund. No, 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 no. And they don't even stockpile food. which is, by the way, a great way to generate savings because you are smart enough and wise enough to get the things your family eats and drinks at a great price. And you could put it away because prices seem to be going up and not down. Okay, the egg thing, yeah, went down, but that was for a different reason. But what about the other prices of things? So if you could get a great price on beef for whatever the reason, maybe it's the time of the year, whatever, get it. If you could get a great price on your favorite condiment, get it. Just saying, just saying. There are ways and there are ways, but I do want to encourage anyone who's teetering on the thought of a side hustle. A side hustle doesn't have to be a side hassle. A person could make one sale of an item, and that might cover their entire month's expenses. Think about that for a minute. There you go. Hey, listen, if you enjoy content such as this, please, right now, if you have not, smash down the subscribe button and the like button. Please do so right now. Sharing this video on your community tab, if you have a channel, would be a nice gesture. Just saying, just saying. Ah, I have often promoted other channels and I do it lovingly and I do it graciously. Just a thought, just saying. All right, everybody, have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself and your family.